So this piece is written for the Earthrise concert, which is, it's sort of like a multimedia concert that's held in Birmingham State University in March, where...
Oh, it's at the Krista McAuliffe Center. That's what it is.
Oh, that's what it's called.
Yeah. The Krista McAuliffe, the astronaut that lost her life in the space shuttle. Yeah, it's named after that. I guess, I guess I'm old.
So...
You don't know, but it's at the Krista McAuliffe Center, and the piece that he's writing will have like, what do you call it, the visual...
It's like visuals, but it's...
will have like
it's like a lot of abstract visuals, sometimes like just sort of like
yeah.
a lot of like nature imagery.
Yeah.
The whole concert is based on the Earthrise picture, which is a picture of the Earth rising from the perspective of the moon, which was taken on an Apollo mission from like 1968. And essentially the whole message of the concert is to sort of contemplate like our place as humans on Earth and how to protect our environment better. And that's sort of the whole theme of the concert.
Yeah.
So this piece, we're planning to have this as an opener to essentially like start as a way to set the mood and sort of...
It's you're going to be first on the
right?
Okay.
And then the message says it's going to be like, there's going to be text on the screen, and it's going to be like sort of talking about like...
that as well, or no?
That's probably what the animators are doing.
Okay.
And then they're going to be sort of talking about like essentially what it means to be a human in the 21st century
like
Earth environment.
Yeah, so I will tell you, as another composer, I noticed when you were playing it, to me, because I want to hear what you were thinking when you were writing this, like it did, do you know the Reflet Down Low by Debussy? The Reflection of the Water, you should check that out. But anyway, so when you were playing, I was thinking Debussy, and a lot of his chords coming up, and I really, like when I'm hearing his music, it literally felt like you were ascending upwards harmonically.
I mean, the beginning of the piece, I meant it to sort of sound like almost like a sunrise, but except for the sun is
it sounds, there's an ascension, right?
Yeah.
So the harmonic, so literally he's going up in the keyboard, which I thought was interesting for the audience. But for me, when I was listening to it, I thought it sounded a lot like Debussy. So I didn't know if you were hearing that, or what, if there was any composer you were thinking, or...
I kind of just wanted to try out some more chordal rhythms, because that's something I want to do more of. So.
I would say check out Debussy a little bit. He has a lot of those parallel fifths and like chords.
Yeah.
So I was gonna say, like, if you're writing like that right now, you might want to check out some of the Debussy's work. But and also, it's always fun to know how long he's been composing this piece. 2 years and 4 months, or... I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. But like, I'm curious. Like it's been very short amount.
The past week, essentially.
How many days? Like 3 days?
Yeah, more or less.
Yeah. So it's always fun to. It's always funny to hear about. For example, George Gershwin. You know this piece. That's like a really stable. Everybody knows this piece. Did you know that George Gershwin didn't remember that he had a commission for this piece? So he used to live in Manhattan, New York, and apparently he was reading the New York Times one morning, and he saw an ad that says, New York Philharmonic is very proud to announce that we are going to have a world premiere of Mr. George Gershwin's original piano concerto with orchestra. And apparently that's how he found out that he had to write the Rhapsody in Blue. So talk about interesting ways in which composers compose. And I know for a fact that he literally had maybe less than 2 weeks, and now he's telling us this was probably a 3-day job. So it's always interesting to know.
I'm trying to learn how to like write fast. That's what.
Yeah, actually, we can tell everyone a little bit about the Carnegie Hall experience. So as we all know, he won first prize in state and also second prize in Eastern Regionals for this amazing piece that you wrote, right? So when I suggested to the director of the Carnegie Hall concert if they would consider playing his piece, my friend and the director Byron said, "Oh, sure, like it'll be great, but on one condition." My wife is a violist, and there was no viola part in his award-winning piece. He said, "Oh, I would like my wife to have a chance to play Carnegie Hall. So could you mind writing a viola part for her? And there was no viola part in the piece that he wrote. But so just to make sure we can accommodate that request, we started writing the viola part, and then eventually I said, in this case, you know what? Let's make it a democratically fair piece. The first violin had all the solos, and I was like, you know what? Let's give a solo to like everybody. So we grabbed the solo from the first violin, gave it to everyone, and then added more solos. And then as he was writing, what happened? What did they say? What else without adding viola? They all started complaining about his unbelievably fantastic jazz rhythm, which I love. His pieces has very complex rhythm, which I think is why it sounds amazing. But apparently these are world class musicians, but they're all busy, and we only had one rehearsal before Carnegie Hall, and very complex. So they all started complaining his piece was too hard to play. And then eventually, was it like 2 days before the first rehearsal?
They changed all the quintuplets.
They changed all of his rhythm to make it super dumbed down easy, like triplets, instead of quintuplets to triplets. And then we, even with that, we had to get a conductor. There was no conductor in his original piece. But he was like, what? And now we need a conductor, and we're gonna dumb down the rhythm, we're gonna add the viola. And guess what happened to the wife of the director, where we completely changed the whole piece to accommodate this wife? She chickened out and decided not to play. And then there were 3 violists, right? We had, how many?
I think like 2 people also wanted to play, so another violinist and then another violist.
Yeah, what was it? It was a quartet.
So three violins, 2
it was
violins, 1 cello, 1 bass.
It was a quartet in the beginning, right? Was it a quartet?
No, it was a quintet.
Well, it was a quintet.
Yeah, it was a quintet.
One piano. So it was a piece for piano solo.
Yeah.
Piano solo with string quartet.
Yeah.
And then Byron, my friend, he goes, well, the piano part is too hard to play. Can we make that into a piano duet? So then he was just like, what? And I would constantly get these texts and be like, sending Danny, yeah, can you make that into piano? Just split that in half and give him the good part and give the solo and put it like that. He was just like, what? And he's still only—
The piano part's not actually
it's
that
not even
hard.
that hard. So he was like, why? Like, it's easy. And I just like, just do it. And so he was in hot water. Like in a few weeks, it changed from this wonderful, beautiful piece for piano and quintet, award-winning, and it changed into 8 people, right? It went from 4 people.
8 people, though technically 9 because 2 people had to play.
It ended up being a 9 people with a conductor, dumbed down rhythm, with a viola part, but Democrat, and then she doesn't play. It was a complete circus.
Yeah.
But still, so he had to experience what it is to be a real life composer. So I told him, actually, this is a really good real life experience. He still received a spectacular performance in Carnegie Hall, and it was one of the highlights. But he got to experience what it's like to, work with real people and to change and accommodate and whatever. So anyway, so this is his 3-day-old composition called Earth in Sight. All right.